But now it's time to go around the horn for the NHL Awards. And this is what we sort of, our prediction of who will win it based on the games played so far. Obviously, things can change with the second half of the season. So we start with the Maurice Rocket Richard, which is the who will win the goal scoring race. And we'll start with Sean.
Oh, fake out.
Oh, we're going with that. We're
Was
going,
it
they're
you?
going with that one right now.
Did I
looking this way, then you went there. It was nice.
I think it was Sean's turn, though.
That was nice.
The no look.
I mean, it's gonna. I think it'll be Draisaitl. He's got what, a 3 or 4 goal lead on Reinhart.
He has 31 right now, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm guessing it'll be Draisaitl. So
Draisaitl.
Same.
I'm going to go Kyle Connor.
Ooh, I like that
Winnipeg
pick.
is scoring a lot of goals, and I think that he's going to push and
The
get
problem with that is that, although you could argue that with McDavid there as well, is Mark Scheifele is scoring just as much as Kyle Connor is. I think it's going to be Draisaitl. He's Kyle Connor's an incredible goal scorer. And I can't wait to cheer for him with Team USA in the Four Nations. But to me, it's going to be Draisaitl. There was a time where I wondered if it might be Ovechkin, but I just don't think the body's going to hold up for that kind of a number this year. Art Ross, the trophy for the player who finishes with the scoring lead. Most points will go to Luds.
I'm going Draisaitl.
Ooh, interesting.
I am. I know probably you're going to pick the guy in Colorado.
Probably.
I was even ultimately contemplating Kucherov, but I just think when you play so many games, so many minutes with 97, you're picking up points every night. And the goals are on him for the most part. I don't know. I think 75, 80% is more on Draisaitl than it is playing with McDavid. But I think when you play with McDavid, you just inherently pick up points.
Yeah.
Sam?
I'm going to go with that guy in Colorado, Nathan MacKinnon.
Also with McKinnon, I think like last year, he's just, as long as he stays healthy, he will pile up more points than anybody in the league.
That's the thing that scares me. It doesn't scare me, but I don't want to even say he's a reckless player, but he plays at top speed all the time. Yeah. That's the only thing that scares me. It's probably the only thing that scares Joe Sakic.
Sean?
Kucherov. He's got 5 games in hand as well on McKinnon right now. So we're talking about McKinnon's played 45, Kucherov's played 40. I know McKinnon's got like a 7-point lead or something on him right now, like that. So, but to me, I think it's going to be Kucherov. Kucherov also is going to be fresh out of Four Nations, unlike McKinnon, who's going to be taxed a little bit. So I'm going to go with Kucherov.
Sean, the only reason I can go with him is because Coop has got him playing on the second power play unit a lot, which I don't understand. It's probably not going to stay there. But yeah, he's got Point and other guys up there. So I think he's just trying to spread it out a little bit, even things out. Yeah. But anyway, I don't disagree. I mean, I think he's just great. And they got 4 or 5 20-goal scorers on that team. One or the other.
Yeah. Really balanced.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised that Brendan Hagel is already a 20-goal scorer. Yeah. When they traded for him, I didn't expect him to be – he's on pace to score 40. I just didn't see that. So he's really blossomed in that role. Look, we could do a whole segment, and maybe we should at some point if we have the showtime for it, to talk about the Selke because it's nuanced. There's a lot of interesting – Luddy and I were having this conversation before the show.
Let's for Selke, let's just find a day, probably after Four Nations or before. Let's just get Yuri on the show and ask him. Honestly, Perfect. He's the only person let's just do that. I mean,
I'm okay with that. But who would you? Let's go with Luds. Who would
Sean,
you pick?
The only issue with that is we could probably do it in the last minute or so of the show because you're only going to get about 10 seconds out of them. That's going to be it.
Who would say less, Rope or Yuri?
What are we talking about?
If we're doing an interview, fewer words.
Slayer.
I've never spoken to Rupe, so I don't know.
He's a pretty quick talker when it comes to interviews.
I'm still going to bet on Let's.
Okay.
I'm betting on him.
All right, so who's your Selke pick for mid-season so far?
Sam Reinhart.
It's interesting.
Well, only because I think I don't know. He plays at both ends of the rink, and I think he fits in today's standard for what they look for as Selke.
Sam?
Kills penalties, 5 shorthanded goals, can score goals. Barkov missed time. He was put into more responsibility. Sam Reinhart.
Sean?
I like that a lot. I'm still on the Barkov train, but I just think that the reflection of how I think Selke's an award where it's not like you have things split like MVP. So I'm on Barkov, but as things keep going with Reinhart, I may swing my idea on that. It's something I'm interested in watching right now.
I have a list of 7 guys I considered. Some either the team isn't great.
You get one.
I know. Either their team isn't very good, or they don't have the points, or the team is only okay, or this number to this. I'm going to surprise you guys, and I'm going to pick a New Jersey Devil because I almost went with Anze Kopitar. I think he's a great guy to pick. I'm going with Nico Hischier. And you're like, really?
He's number 2 on everybody's list.
He's got the points. Yep. He's got the plus minus. He averages over 2 minutes of penalty kill time on ice a game. He takes over 54% of his defensive zone faceoffs. He's number 1 in faceoffs drawn, 2nd in D zone faceoffs taken. He has more hits than Kopitar by like a 2.5 to 1.
Jesus, what does he have for breakfast?
I mean,
he is very underrated.
Probably
though.
muesli.
Wheaties?
No, because he's from Switzerland, so he probably has a European cereal. I just think Nico Hischier might be the guy this year that gets a Selke. But you know who I really like, but I don't think his team's good enough is Travis Konechny. I really like him as a Selke kind of guy as well. Or Vincent Trocheck, but he doesn't have the point. All right, let's move on to the Calder. This one's a tough one too. The Rookie of the Year. Sean, we'll start with. Oh no, sorry, it's Sam's turn. We'll start with Sam.
Hey yo. All right, I'm going to go with Lane Hudson, and it's not just because he's leading right now. I think that. For him, the 2 things that I like is, 1, he's a big surprise, and voters love a guy that kind of comes out of nowhere and becomes a story. And 2, Montreal is making a hard push to try to make a playoff spot. I think he's going to benefit off of that.
Sean, it's up to you, and I already know who you're going to pick. We have not talked about this, and I have mine written down, but I believe you and I picked the same guy. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm going with Celebrini. Right?
It's wrong. I'm stunned.
So I still have a lot of space for Hudson to see how things go right now, but for me there's a level of controlling the game in all 3 zones, and I know Celebrini's plus minus isn't great. He's on a terrible team, but to me, what Celebrini's done this year has been pretty remarkable. When you talk about most proficient in their rookie year, that to me is Celebrini. I like the Hudson mention. He's definitely in the conversation for me, and especially because I am someone who likes to give credit to defensemen, because I think it's harder to play the position as a young defenseman than as a forward. But I also don't think Lane Hudson plays much defense at the same time. Correct. So he is very heavily used in the offensive zone. So so I'm going with Celebrini right now.
Luds?
I took Hudson, and the reason I had Celebrini, but I just think durability has a lot to do with the game.
Me, Sean, it was
and
Ben.
As Sean said, defensemen don't become defensemen until they play a couple hundred games, 250 games. You know, and again, I know he's a small guy. I just think durability matters, and I don't think he's missed a game. And I think Celebrini's missed 10, maybe.
Yeah, he was hurt right after the first game.
But nothing. You know, and again, I get the flash and dash and all that kind of stuff. But I'm looking at Hudson.
I'm shocked, Sean. I am stunned that you didn't pick. I have a different name. How did you not pick Dustin Wolf? Dustin Wolf should be right now the Calder Trophy winner. Think about this. The goalie for Calgary, who's a rookie, 15-6-2 record, 2.50 goals against average, 916 save percentage, and he has them in a wild card spot. If he does this for the second half of the season, it should be a no-brainer. I don't know if it'll actually happen, but it should be Dustin Wolf.
Yeah. He's in my top 3. The three that we've mentioned are my top 3 each.
Same. I have those 3 as well.
Yeah, you'll see I went over this on Sunday. Throughout the season, sometimes one of my colleagues in media goes and polls all of the people who have votes in the PHWA, and those were the 3 that I sent to him as these are the 3 that I would right now see potentially voting for. I used to have Michkov in there, but after watching Michkov in person and seeing him Michkov has become just more exclamation point than a complete product, and I think as a rookie I'd like the complete product. But I could definitely see Dustin Wolf winning it, and if things go and he keeps going, it wouldn't surprise me if that's number 1 for me too by the end of the season.
If Lane Hudson wins the rookie scoring title and he's in the top 10 in defensemen's points, then it would be hard for me not to lean toward Lane Hudson. I think Wolf, because he's a goalie and how important that position is, gets the edge right now. I could see Celebrini blowing the field away with points in the second half if he stays healthy. But don't discount Logan Stankoven. He finally scored after a 25-game goal drought, and he could still get back in this race. He's not in it right now, but he could if he had a incredible second half because, as you said, Sean, he plays the same game. Luddy's said that all along. He does all the same things. If they start going in with regularity, he's not that far behind Hudson and Celebrini. It could happen, but it would be a pretty amazing feat for him to pull off at this point. Let's wrap this up because we have to get to the damn Discord channel. I know everyone's waiting for it, including our new diehard Jordan, who loves the Discord. Thank you, Jordan, and we appreciate you for joining. The Norris. We start with Sean this time. Who wins the Norris based on the first half of the year?
Zach Werenski. You said to go quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's.
Agreed.
Sam?
Cale Makar.
To me, it's Werenski.
It will be Cale Makar.
If he holds
first half.
Did you guys happen to see there was something on Twitter about the difference between the Vancouver Canucks when Quinn Hughes is on the ice when he's not? It's a massive.
Yeah, but that
he's their MVP.
Can we talk about that stat though? That was a misusage of data. Okay? Because they were using all.
I thought we were going to be quick, Sean.
No,
you got him going.
I did. It's my fault.
He needs some milk. That stat shows the Canucks with Hughes on the ice versus him off the ice. It's all situations though, so it accounts for. You're talking about a guy who doesn't kill penalties versus a guy who plays for the power play.
Sure.
So if you're telling me they're plus 47 in goals when he's on the ice and he never kills penalties, I need that isolated out. That I just want to. That's a bad
right. But have you happened to look at the Vancouver Canucks stats lately? Just looking at their numbers. Forget the fancy analytics. No, he is plus 14 with 47 points on a team that almost everybody is a minus.
Yeah, but he doesn't kill penalties.
But you don't get a plus for power play points.
I'm not, but they're talking about with him on the ice versus him off the ice.
Yeah. I'm saying Quinn Hughes is so important that he could easily be.
I hate when mom and dad fight.
It's never you and I.
He can be a North.
Always fine. It's the parents.
Sean and I love this. This is what we enjoy.
Well, then do it off air.
Listen, you're
absolutely what your phone calls are for.
I'd say do it over a beer, but you don't drink.
It's Werenski right now. He's having an incredible season, and I hope he does because it's nice to see somebody different than Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes, but I'm telling you, Hughes is still right in that conversation. But for me, it would be Werenski also. All right. Mm-hmm. The one that will not take long, Vezina.
Just skip
Luds?
You can. The last two awards for me are both Hellebuck.
Yeah, Hellebuck.
Hellebuck, right? It's no different. What about the Hart Trophy? Sam?
Hellebuck.
McKinnon.
Hellebuck.
My three were Hellebuck, McKinnon, and Kaprizov. I think it's Hellebuck. I just don't think Kaprizov is going to end up playing enough games.
Only reason I say McKinnon is because of how many people have missed time and how he's just carried that team. That's the reason I say it, because it is most valuable to your team, right?
Is there any reason why, for the first time since Dominik Hasek, we'll have a goalie as the? Was it Hasek the last one, or was it Josie Theodore?
No, it was Jose Theodore.
I don't know, but every time you tell us to hurry up, you just kind of linger. You gotta string it out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like your pick, Sam. McKinnon could easily be it. I think that if he wasn't hurt, Kaprizov was so important to Minnesota.
I'll throw Mitch Marner out as well as he won't win it, but just someone who has.
Yeah, he's having a great season,
huge
but this
for his team without
the Hart Trophy is not for this guy had a great year.
That's why I threw it out there. You get 7. I got 2.